In this video, I have 3 different kinds of behaviors that were observed while I was at the Milwaukee County Zoo. The animal in question is the Amur tiger, or the Siberian tiger. And the first behavior that I observed was calling. Tigers have specialized larynx anatomy with longer vocal folds and larger vocal pads than usual, and this allows them to have very powerful calls that are low frequency. And this low frequency characteristic allows the calls to actually travel farther. Different audio features in their calls showcase different states of the animal depending on the pitch, duration, and amplitude, and these are all different factors that can kind of allude to how the animal might be feeling or what kind of state they are in. Tigers can also recognize other individuals in their species depending on the variation in their calls. As tigers are born, they are cubs, and cubs start out with a distress signal, and later on they develop 9 different types of calls. And as tigers age, they're able to develop unique voices and recognize others based off of the individual qualities of a tiger's call. At a young age, tigers engage in social learning through their mothers and their siblings, which helps them learn the context for using different kinds of calls. Calls are important for communication between tiger mothers and their cubs, but they also allow for enhanced play and socialization between cubs. Once an adult, tigers can use their calls to establish territory and attract mates. In a couple of seconds, I'm going to start allowing you to hear the audio of this specific tiger calling, so you can hear what it sounds like.
The tiger's making noise. Come here. He's growling.
Okay, oh, he's like, I need a pillow.
Oh.
He's making that sound, can you hear him? He's saying, I'm hungry, bring me something to eat. I wonder what time they do eat.
On a longer scale, roaring developed amongst the Panthera genus to facilitate long-range communication. This is largely due to the low frequency and the specialized larynx anatomy that the tigers have evolved. There is strong selective pressure for survival-based communication, and this also resulted in the selection for the co-option of communication for play. Now, while this tiger is not exactly sleeping, the animal is resting, and this resting and sleeping behavior is controlled by physiological needs. This mostly includes the conservation of energy, and many different environmental factors can impact a tiger's sleep. This includes things like light, the temperature of the environment, the size of the territory that the tiger has, and human activity in the habitat. And a little fun fact, tigers prefer to sleep when it's warm. They really like it when it's 30 degrees Celsius and above. And tigers typically spend 27 to 36% of their time resting, which is about a third of their time. This varies depending on the tiger's age. In terms of the development of the tiger, the range of sleep doesn't change much between juveniles and adults, but adults spend up to 4% more of their time sleeping. However, cubs spend most of their day sleeping. And this shows that sleep and activity behaviors change as a tiger matures. Sleep is important to conserve energy for more important behaviors like growing, hunting, managing territory, and reproducing. On a longer scale, the time budgets of tigers are very flexible and they are impacted by several environmental factors. This can include the availability of prey and how vigilant or defensive they have to be depending on their territory. Their adaptability allows them to survive in the wild and in human-impacted habitats as well. The next behavior I observed in this animal is grooming. And grooming behaviors are triggered by tactile sensory mechanisms. Tigers can sense loose fur and parasites, as well as different interactions between tigers on their fur. And maternal grooming is important for cubs because the rough licking of the cat's tongue stimulates circulation and helps clean their fur. Cubs need to be groomed as they are young, and eventually they mature into being able to groom themselves. And cubs develop this behavior as soon as they develop motor control. Grooming behaviors remove dirt, parasites, and extra fur, which increases the health of the coat on the tigers that actually engage in this behavior. Grooming also reduces stress and allows for increased social bonding, especially between mothers and their cubs. Moms playing a role in grooming of their offspring is a fixed trait amongst all tiger species, which shows its importance in survival based on how much selective pressure there is for this behavior. Self-grooming most likely developed as a replacement for the solitary lifestyles that most adult tigers live. Thank you for staying for this video, and I hope you learned something useful about the Amur tiger.